The 43-year-old man accused of raping his stepdaughter returns to court this morning. He'll appear in the Verulam Magistrates Court for a bail application. The man is accused of raping his 10-year-old stepdaughter for years after her mother passed away. He was arrested 3 weeks ago after a neighbor rescued the child from the house they live in after hearing her scream. The 43-year-old is also accused of sexual grooming and exposing the child to pornography. Afro Worldview reporter Nomosa Pungula is outside at the Verulam Magistrates Court. Good morning to you, Nomosa, and thank you so much for joining us. Just in terms of what we can expect from court today, if you'll just give us the details there.
Good morning, Cindy, and good morning to our viewers. Yes, indeed, we are back at the Verulam Magistrate Court for the third time today, where the 43-year-old who has been accused of repeatedly raping his stepdaughter for years after her mother died will appear today for a formal bail hearing. You would remember that last time when we were here, which was like last week, his lawyers had argued that they need to have this formal bail hearing, and what they are going to use in order to support their plea for him to get bail is the fact that he has not been receiving proper medical attention while he is in custody, and also the fact that they want the state to share the medical report with them, as he was also claiming that he only received painkillers and he did not even receive his diabetes medication. He claims that he is also diabetic and he was not getting that medication as well. But also another factor that one is going to look at today is that, as you see, a lot of community members standing behind me have been saying that he should not be granted bail. He does not deserve to be in society. They cannot live with a person like him, whom they have described as an animal due to all the things that he has been accused of doing to his stepdaughter. So we are going to hear today what are other things that his lawyers are going to argue, and what the state is going to say, whether they are going to oppose the bail or they are going to allow them to continue arguing for their bail plea. But also to say, Cindy, is that this case has brought together a lot of different political parties, where they are all saying in one word that this person does not deserve bail. He should not be granted bail, because if he can do that to his stepdaughter, what is he going to do now when he's out on bail awaiting for his trial? But also the fact that this child, he has been doing this to her for so many years, and the fact that there's been some evidence that he was not only doing it to her, but also there are other kids involved, which we are going to hear at a later stage as the case progresses. But today we are going to listen to those arguments for the bail hearing and see if he is going to be granted bail. Community members also came out in numbers, as usual, to support the family as much as they are not here in court. But also another matter, Cindy, is that the child is still secured, is still safe with the social workers, and the fact that they've also allocated her maternal family, which she will be reunited with shortly or soon after the Department of Social Development have done their own investigation, which they said they are going to conduct in terms of whether she is safe to go and stay with that family and why she was not with that family in the first time.
All right, so you're saying it's not really the merits and the graphic details of the actual case, that of sexual grooming and sexual violation that we're going to hear. It's more about the bail application. But Nomosa, just talk us through what you experience, especially when engaging with community members, the fact that there was almost the secrecy, if you like, or people were oblivious of what was going on for so many years.
Indeed, Cindy. It is apparently the father, the stepfather, has been staying in Verulam for approximately 4 to 6 months, and before he came to Verulam he was staying in Johannesburg, so he has been moving from place to place with this child. And when he arrived there in Verulam, no one was suspicious of anything that he could do or harm to the child. But as the time progresses and they realize that the child has not been out of the house for quite a number of days. Then they only started being suspicious then that in fact there probably something happening wrong there, because one of the neighbors said that when he heard the child crying saying that, "Daddy, please don't hurt me," he thought it was just one of those arguments between the daughter and the father. Perhaps she didn't wash the dishes. He did not suspect that it could be something so serious. Hence the community could not do something at that time. But there are also allegations or claims from the community that every time someone goes to their room, because it's not really a house, Cindy, they were renting a room so small that it could even be a size of a bathroom for some small houses, and it was a very dirty environment for a child to live in. But they are saying that every time they would go there to check how the child is doing, why she hasn't been at school, the father would just come out with a gun and say, "What do you want from us? This is a family matter. You can't intervene." So those are all allegations. But as the case progresses, we are expecting to see witnesses, and then we can confirm at that later stage whether indeed he was threatening neighbors whenever they were trying to assist the child. But also the community is saying they are very angry. As you'd remember, that there are also allegations that he was beaten up before he could be arrested. The community beat him up before the police could actually take him into custody. So one can only wonder, if that is true, what is going to happen to him if he is released in bail, as the community is this much angry with him. They don't want him to come back to Verulam, or whether he's going to get bail and move to another place until his trial begins, Cindy.
Nomusa, also if you can just recap the charges that this man, the accused, is facing.
At this point in time, we can confirm 2 charges, which is sexual grooming as well as exposing the child to pornography. But you would remember that as the case progresses, we might see more charges being added into the charge sheet, because the chief magistrate is still waiting for all the evidence that has been gathered by the prosecution to be presented to him, which is something that is going to happen after this bail hearing. Then he can perhaps see whether there are any other charges that deserve to be added on the charge sheet. But also the prosecution itself can also identify other charges along those charges that have been brought forward at this point in time. Another one might be human trafficking. As I said earlier, that there are also other girls that have been allegedly involved in this. Right now we can't confirm, because it is just things that are being said by neighbors, that they discovered pictures of other girls, and where these pictures were taken, they were taken at a harbor. So one wonders, what were young girls doing at a harbor? And those kind of pornographic pictures taken of them, what were they going to be used for, Cindy?
Nomusa, any word from the maternal family of this young girl? Have they come forward? Had you had an opportunity to speak to them?
At this point in time, no word has come out from the maternal family. You'd remember that I said the Department of Social Development is still conducting their own investigation. So perhaps that's one of the things why they haven't been one to court, but also they haven't come out to the media and say what exactly is happening to the child, how they feel as a family in terms of what is happening currently, what they wish to see happening in terms of justice. So perhaps those are some of the reasons, because the matter, as much as it is still sub judice, but also community would like to hear from the family how they feel about this whole matter, and also coming to court and see the people that they are supporting and actually explain to them why there is such a need to make sure that this child stays with them, regardless of what happens to the father here in court, whether he gets bail or whatever might happen to him today. So for all those reasons, Cindy, but at this point in time, none of that has happened. We haven't heard anything from the maternal family. We have not seen them in court either till today.
All right, thank you.